Oregon Water Matters, Groundwater Development, How Oregon Develops Groundwater. There's a lot of mystery and mythology associated with groundwater. So rather than trying to describe or draw the concepts on a whiteboard, let's take a look underground. What you see here is an aquifer model, as if we took a cake knife and sliced it vertically through the Earth's crust. These particular cake layers approximate what one would encounter in the vicinity of Boone's Ferry near Wilsonville. The different layers include the sand and gravel alluvium associated with the Missoula floods and Willamette River. Underlying this veneer of alluvium is older sand, clay, and sandstone. This package of sediments overlies the fractured rock aquifer, which serves as the prolific aquifer in the Willamette Valley and across Oregon. The Columbia River basalt is found north of Corvallis. The water-bearing fractures are easy to identify due to iron staining on the fracture planes. There are approximately 350,000 wells in the state of Oregon of varying depths. Domestic wells are typically paired with a septic tank. Many wells and septic tanks are located near water bodies like lakes. Deep wells can be artesian and flow naturally at the ground surface. As we will see a little later, if the aquifer tapped by the deep wells is contaminated, the well can serve as a conduit for contaminant transport. Aquifers are recharged in the recharge area, which is located along the eastern margin of the Willamette Valley and circulates to a regional hydraulic sink like the Willamette River, which serves as the discharge area. Hydrogeologists can map the direction of groundwater flow and hydraulic gradient as shown using the orange-colored cord through the elevations of springs, water levels in wells, lakes, and rivers. There may be some skeptics out there, so one way hydrogeologists confirm the direction of groundwater circulation is through the use of tracers. Pollution can be used as a tracer. Let's trace groundwater flow through septic tank discharge to the shallow groundwater system. The red dye represents a deposit in a septic tank, which is followed with a flush. Note the red dye discharging along the leach field. Some of the leachate eventually makes it to lakes and streams, and the residual nitrogen and phosphate can contribute to algal blooms. There are millions of buried gasoline tanks across the U.S. The tanks were buried to prevent fire hazards. While there are requirements to regularly test the underground storage tanks for leaks, there's no such thing as a perfectly leak-free tank. Spills around the filling tube and leaks from piping and corroded tanks also contribute to groundwater pollution. Revisiting the hydraulic gradient, we observed the pollution does indeed move down gradient. The groundwater moving through the pore spaces between the sand grains is called diffuse flow. Permitted deep injection wells are used for disposal of frac sand fluids, chemical waste, and nuclear waste. If the wastes are injected into wells tapping fractured rock aquifers, the contaminants move through conduit flow. Out of sight does not necessarily mean out of mind, as groundwater, under conduit flow conditions, moves rapidly across large areas. Uncontrolled deep artesian wells can serve as conduits for the contaminated groundwater to make it to the ground surface and discharge into waterways. There you have it, everything you wanted to know about groundwater wrapped up in less than 5 minutes. But that all sounds well and good. You still want more, such as your well log. The Oregon Water Resources Department maintains an online database where one can search for a well log by legal location, street address, or by a location on an online map. Well reports typically include depth, casing size, flow rate in gallons per minute, and water level. Well reports submitted prior to 2009 may not have a map associated with the well. Additionally, older reports often lack a street address or tax lot. Geologists use the well logs to draw profiles of Oregon's subsurface, using the well logs to identify aquifers for groundwater development, assess how contaminants might be moving in the subsurface, or determine if groundwater and surface water resources are connected. But wait, You observe an odor or the water is cloudy or tastes funny? The most comprehensive approach to assessing your well water quality is to collect a water sample and send it to a water quality laboratory. There are many laboratories available in the state of Oregon, but the list of analyses looks like alphabet soup. Many of the taste and odor issues can be investigated using field tests. Hydrogen sulfide is a common gas dissolved in groundwater that smells like rotten eggs. Many of the taste and odor issues can be investigated using additional field tests. If a test kit reveals a measurable concentration of dissolved gas, a water well servicing contractor should be contacted to discuss water treatment options. Iron bacteria is a common bacteria in Oregon groundwaters. Unlike some bacteria found in well water that can cause illness, iron bacteria are non-toxic and more of a nuisance, causing odors, discoloration of water, staining porcelain fixtures, or plugging up the well or well system components. Test kits are available to assess iron bacteria for less than $50 per test. However, iron bacteria are all very challenging to remove from wells, so working with a water well servicing contractor to discuss options for controlling iron bacteria is the best approach. A well owner may be tempted to treating the iron bacteria in their well using chlorine, bleach, or tablets, but this typically only kills the iron bacteria that comes in contact with the chlorine, thus leaving the dead iron bacteria as food for the residual iron bacteria, potentially creating a bloom of iron bacteria in the well. Chlorine gas is also toxic. Consult a well servicing professional before attempting any well treatment. Nitrate is more common in Oregon groundwaters than the state regulators want to see. Nitrates are derived from some natural sources, such as plants or soils, but more commonly associated with septic tanks, fertilizers, and animal waste. Test kits are available to assess nitrates for less than $50 for 25 tests. If a test strip reveals nitrates in well water, follow-up testing of a water sample by a laboratory will confirm the field test. The follow-up testing many times can be combined with other analyses of potential contaminants of concern, such as herbicides, pesticides, and dissolved metals, as a package offered by the analytical laboratory. There are not many options for treating well water with elevated nitrates. Boiling the water will only concentrate the nitrates. Consult a well servicing professional before attempting any well treatment. Tracing of the sources of various contaminants is the work of water detectives, but the well owner should be cognizant of the timing of the changes in their well water quality and the changes in land use of neighboring properties. These investigations can be started simply by discussing water quality issues with neighboring well owners. Water has a way of building community, as Oregon water matters to everyone living in the state.